Miramar and has lived there for 17 years. His burning desire is to learn to relax and spend more quality time with family and friends. Something that nobody knows about him, he is a private pilot, and he used to be morbidly obese. He weighed 360 pounds. So that is sincerely amazing. His key to success is treating others with respect, positive thinking, working hard, and being generous with others, which I can attest to. Please help me in welcoming my friend Juan Montes this evening.
Okay. Look at that case. I got some prizes in the case. All right. Again, my name is Juan Montes, personal injury lawyer for this group. In Montes & Associates, we have, as you know, a couple of offices. Our Miramar office is on Miramar Parkway, right off of I-75 by Dykes Road. This is a picture of the center in the front of our office. Lobby, conference room, and the Miramar office. We have a equally large conference room in the Hialeah office. I'd make it available if anybody here needs to have a meeting at a time or meeting of any kind. Please, you're welcome to call us and reserve either conference room. That's the lobby in the Hialeah office. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see this, but how I got the legal bug. How did it all start? This is a newspaper article from back in the 1980s. You really can't see me, but I'm in this picture somewhere around here. And this was I got into law because I took a course in high school. And part of that course took me to the Dade County Courthouse once a week for a 1-hour classroom instruction about the legal system. And then we would spend 3 or 4 hours watching an ongoing case. At the time, one of the ongoing cases was a pretty high-profile case where a Miami police officer has shot a kid in the Overtown area, and it caused days and days of riots. I mean, you that have been living here in South Florida probably remember the police officer was Luis Alvarez, represented by this little-known lawyer called Roy Black, who impressed me with his abilities, and I decided at that point that I wanted to become a lawyer. Previously, I was going to go into the Air Force and then become a pilot and try to get into the space program. Big difference. So, interestingly, to make a little point, I have a little wall of fame, whatever you want to call it, in the office, and I have this article because I kept it. And one of the first clients that I had in the Miramar office came up, and he looked at this article, and he said, "Oh my God, I was a juror in that case." So kind of weird, you know, you end up meeting a juror in that case. I got to ask him a lot of interesting questions about what was going on behind the scenes because there was sequestered for months. It was a really big case. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of unique. Sorry. Okay, what are my qualifications? I've been in practice 20 years. I'm licensed to practice law both in the state of Florida and in Texas. Those are the diplomas. You know, everything's bigger in Texas, so they make a bigger diploma. No disciplinary history. I think that's always important in choosing a lawyer, particularly one that's been practicing 20 years. I mean, someone just goes out of law school, yeah, they don't have disciplinary history, but what about 20 years later? I'm board certified. And board certified doesn't mean you join an organization and send a check. Board certification with both the Florida Bar and the National Board of Trial Advocacy, you have to apply, you have to have a certain amount of trial experience. They send letters to almost everybody you come into contact with in the legal system, people that you try cases against, judges, and things of that nature. You have to take a rigorous examination for both. And you have to have a clean, obviously, disciplinary history as well. I'm board certified in civil trial law, which is what you do when you try cases, like personal injury cases. And I think it's less than 8% of all lawyers in Florida are board certified in any of the disciplines because they have, for example, appellate practice, they have criminal practice, and I'm in civil trial law. I'm also authorized to practice in federal court in the southern and northern districts of Florida. You need to be a member of the federal bar in order to practice in the federal bar, and the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. I teach a course in insurance bad faith law that people in the insurance industry and lawyers take for continuing legal education credits. I handle simple to complex cases, including class action litigation, and a lot of the class action litigation that I handle stems from consumer issues involving car accidents and the insurance that people have for medical coverage after car accidents called PIP. I handle most of my own appellate work. Most trial lawyers don't. I have been for many, many years, and I've handled a lot of cases where there's appellate decisions that have created the law in Florida on certain issues we made precedent. In law school, I was published. I had an article published in 1993, an article that if you go into a lot of legal periodicals, is cited to in a lot of other articles and books, etc. It was from St. Thomas Law Review, had nothing to do with personal injury. It was called Haitian Interdiction in the High Seas, a U.S. Policy of Bias and Consistency, with like 800 footnotes and like 40 pages, and took a lot of work, but it got published, and that's one of the things that in law school, to be in law review is a big deal. To be published in law review is a bigger deal, and that's just some of the accomplishments that I'm very happy about. But let's talk about what I do. Injuries can happen anytime, anywhere. We do all kinds of traffic-related injuries, whether it's auto with pedestrian, motorcycles, trucks, bicycles, road hazards, cars running into lakes because of the darkness and the way the street is designed, utility poles, etc. Wave runner accidents, boat accidents, cruise ship, airline accidents, bus accidents, train accidents. Slip and fall injuries, dangerous conditions created at stores or at someone's homes that cause someone to become injured. Sometimes it's holes, hidden dangers, attractive nuisances, pools that are not protected, for example, is an attractive nuisance, or a pool that is not properly constructed and it gets electrocuted or sucked into the drain. Falling objects, one of the best cases I had was someone that was in a Scotty's hardware store in Sarasota, and this metal bar fell on top of their head, came out of nowhere. Injuries involving crime because of lack of security measures or lighting at shopping centers and malls and things of that nature. Employment-related injuries, someone that's hurt on the job, struck by a vehicle, falling objects, falling from heights, and very important, I've handled a lot of these cases, tools that are defectively designed that cause injuries on the job. Product-related injuries. When a product is manufactured, it has a defect. It could be a defect inherent in that one particular product, something went wrong in the manufacturing process, or it could be a defect because it was designed improperly. And I've handled cases against companies such as Stihl, which makes saws for the construction industry. I've had people decapitated and represented their estates against those companies because of poor design and poor safety measures in those type of equipment, and gotten really good settlements for those cases. Back in the day, handled a lot of tire separation, tread separation cases with, remember the Firestone cases with Ford, handled a bunch of those. Inadequate instructions. A lot of injuries are caused because a product doesn't have adequate instructions to tell someone what to do. I had an interesting case where a Hispanic lady did not follow instructions because she wasn't given adequate instructions on a heating pad, how long to put it in the microwave. When she opened the microwave, it blew up and burned her all over. Problem was that the instructions were in French, and this product was being marketed in the Little Havana area by this company and being put out in the stores. Why? Because they were selling it up in Canada. They didn't sell. They figured, let's just ship them all down here, but they didn't give adequate instructions. They settled pretty quickly. Failure to warn, and obviously failure to include safety mechanisms and devices, all a part of product cases. Burn-related injuries, I'll talk a little bit about a coffee burn case that I handled against 13 years ago. Handled cases on exploding ovens, heat pads, exploding pressure cookers, and an exploding auto battery case where someone lost their eye as a result. I'll move on quickly. Food poisoning, asbestos, tobacco, handled a bunch of tobacco cases. Actually, we still have tobacco cases that we're handling today. Medical malpractice. What makes us unique? We try to get everything we can for our clients. A lot of times people are limited by policy limits. And yeah, many times we're limited by the limits of the policy, and like in a car accident with the other person. But we go the extra mile. The insurance company screws up, we push and push and push, and we've been able to recover substantially more than policy limits in many cases because of an insurance company's bad faith. We work on a contingency basis. If we don't recover for the client, they don't have to pay us anything, and we front all the litigation costs that could really add up. The most I paid in a case upfront in litigation costs were about $240,000. Thank God we won and we got all that money back. So, but that's the type of commitment that you have to be ready to put forward on a client's case. These are just some of the articles where our office has been featured. We were doing some fraud investigations for an insurance company for several years ago, and we got featured on 4 pages in the newspaper. This is one of the class actions that was decided last year. Actually, this changed the whole insurance industry in Florida, cost the insurance company millions of dollars. They hate me, and I love the fact they do, because that made it better for consumers to be able to get their PIP benefits. Some of the verdicts and settlements, I mean, you're welcome to come to my office and look at them. I'm running out of time. This is a case from Sarasota, from Scotty's. Spent 3 weeks at trial. That was the case with the $240,000 in costs. One of the biggest cases against Ticketmaster back in the early 90s. We took out Ticketmaster across the country. And case ended up at newspapers all over the place, and Sun Sentinel, Daily Business News. Coffee burn case, I'm about to finish. Coffee burn, like the one that you heard about the McDonald's, but at the Burger King, we did very well for this client. I'm out of time. Timing is everything. You know, let the people know to come to me. And for whoever is interested, I have some of the pens that I keep on the lock and key. Okay. And I was going to give us prizes, but I would have to ask questions, so I'll do some other time.